So our company's name is Labeled Fit. This is a business that we've spent the past year building and really trying to get up and off the ground. We wanted to launch it properly. My position in the company, I'm the face of the company, and my husband helps me put everything together. He is actually a PE coach, but he also has his personal trainer's license. So we both work together from a nutrition and a physical fitness standpoint. So I am a board certified integrative nutrition health coach, and that is a mouthful. Basically what I do is I take food and nutrition and I integrate that into your body, into your system, into your lifestyle to get you healthier. So also just a little bit about me. My background is marketing. I've been in the marketing industry for over a decade now. I absolutely love it. I have worked for small boutique agencies, larger agencies. I worked for Tiffany & Co. in New York. And a lot of my passion for health and nutrition came when we were living in New York City, and I realized that I wasn't saving the world one diamond at a time. I thought it was my dream. The walls were dripping with diamonds, and breakfast at Tiffany is literally all it's cracked up to be. However, I wasn't saving the world one diamond at a time. My hair was falling out of my head. My skin was absolutely terrible. I looked like a teenager at 30-something years old. It was awful. It was not how you wanted to look. So we started just reevaluating our lives and figuring out what we wanted to do with our lives, and I've always been very passionate about nutrition. We got an opportunity to move back to Charlotte. My husband's actually a Charlottean. He was born and raised in Charlotte, one of the very few. So we've been back almost 3 years now. And surprisingly enough, I ended up attending a school in New York City, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Through the schooling, I learned a lot about myself. You know, I have a very big sweet tooth. I love Swedish fish. So I'm on a mission to find a very clean version of Swedish fish right now. I get a craving for Swedish fish. But you know what, while I was going to school, I realized that I can feed my body properly and I feel so much better. My hair stopped falling out of my head. My skin got clear. I started sleeping better. I was in a much better mood, and I didn't crave those sweets as much as I did. And that's one thing that this detox program is going to teach you how to do. We all have these cravings in our life, but we need to figure out how to work through them and what are some healthier options, because those healthier options do exist. So you may be asking yourself, what is a safe detox? Well, a cucumber detox for a week, that's not what we're going to do. A safe detox is a gradual approach that reduces inflammation and lessens the toxins in your body. We're going to eat on this detox. I'm not going to starve you, because you know what? We get hangry as women, and I can say that because there aren't any men attending other than the men in this room, but we get really hangry as women. We're very emotional. We're hormonal. We need to eat. We need to eat real food to nourish our body. We're going to have enough food and protein to support our body's detoxification and elimination process. So what this detox is going to teach us is going to teach us how to eliminate the bad foods gradually, and then bring in the good foods that are good for our body and are going to help us detox our system. We also want to reduce our sugar and caffeine addiction. And by doing that, we're going to crowd out those bad foods and bring in those good foods. So who has a sugar or caffeine addiction? Did you not raise your hand because you're lying, or you don't want to raise your hand? I think just about all of us have it. If you have one addiction, there's an addiction to something in our life that's not healthy for us. So we're going to find ways to do that. Detoxing also involves balancing areas of your life. We are all so busy. I was talking to a couple of patients before the program tonight, and the woman said, I can't stay. I'm so busy. I have this and that and this and that. And that's right. We are so busy. We need to find a way that will really nourish our system and balance our body. So our main focus in this detox is, of course, going to be through food and drink, but we're also going to talk a little bit about your environment and a little bit about your lifestyle. And that's really what I do as a health coach. I heal you through food. I help treat you through food. But through this detox program, we're also going to talk about balancing these other areas of your life. We have to be in balance. We juggle these balls, so many balls all the time. We have all these balls up in the air, that we need to have this really intricate balance in our life. So here's the question. Are you ready to detox? We think that we are. Let's take a look at what this detox program is really going to consist of for us. Here we have some of these foods. They're very popular food products for us. And we may think, you know what, these Oreos aren't that bad, I'll just have a couple. They bring out like a new flavor every season now, you know. So for Halloween, it's the ones that are orange in the middle. You know, they're very tricky with their marketing. They get it. They know what's going to catch our eye on the marketing shelf. And we might think, you know, these chips, they're not going to be that bad for us. But this detox program is going to teach us that when we eat these foods, you're going to really be able to recognize how you feel after you eat these foods. One of the big things is bloating, or you may get really tired. My biggest thing when I eat foods that are very toxic for my body is my fingers swell very quickly. I just thought that was how my life was supposed to be if I ate foods that were pretty normal and standard. I was like, oh, I just ate something, so my fingers swelled. So that's inflammation in your body. We want to figure out what foods are causing this so we don't eat them. But we also want to figure out other foods that you can bring in that taste just as good but are healthier for our body. We also want to decrease some of this brain fog that we have. Does anybody have that 3 or 4 p.m. slug? You know, you may be sitting at your desk and you're like, I just need to go to Starbucks really quick. I just need to go to Starbucks. I need to get something in my body so I can make it through the rest of the day. So some of these benefits of detoxing that we're going to see, we're going to have stronger immune systems. And that's one of the things that Dr. Kyle teaches us. When you have your spinal column adjusted, you automatically have a stronger immune system. But by introducing these healthy foods in your body, you're going to have an even stronger immune system. We're going to have sharper thinking, better focus, and no more brain fog. I can guarantee you this. And also, weight loss. Summer's coming. I know I want to sit by the pool. I'm not quite bikini ready, but I want to get to that point. I want to go to the beach and not feel like a beached whale. So I want to be able to lose a little bit of weight. I definitely want to have better digestion. You know, I dealt with constipation. I'm just going to be honest, maybe it's TMI with everybody, but I dealt with constipation. I really did. It put me in such a bad mood. I thought it was maybe just that time in the month, but it really wasn't. It was all the time for me. So once I went through this detox program and started feeding my body properly, I got better. I didn't have that anymore. So where do these toxins come from in our environment? They're really sneaky. Every time I think about where toxins come from in our environment, I think about the little cartoon character that like sneaks in. Everybody else can see the little cartoon character, but the person who that character is going after. So these toxins are really sneaky in our life. They can come from, if you're sitting in morning traffic, afternoon traffic, you have your air or heat on in the car, it's coming through your vents in your car. The funniest one for me is honestly new clothes. My husband says that he's really not a shopper. However, I know when he has been shopping because I can smell it on him. He has been to either Hollister, Abercrombie, American Eagle. These are stores that you can smell within a 50-mile radius because you know what they do? They're genius at marketing. They pipe the smells into the store. So you're infiltrated with these smells as you go into the store. They also spray their clothes, so you're infiltrated with that. Even if you don't go into any of these stores, all clothes have a little bit of film on them to make them look pretty while they're in the store. So new clothes, that's another part where toxins come from. And we also talked about, food additives. We don't need additives in our food and preservatives. Just eat real food, things that aren't coated with stuff to make them look prettier or last longer on the shelf. If the food doesn't last, that's okay. It's a whole food. Eat it. When it expires, let it go. One of the biggest things I want to talk about tonight is sugar. We have 3 main things that we want to talk about tonight. The first point is sugar. So here are some examples. The examples that we have up here compare these very common sweet foods to sugar cubes. Does everybody know what a sugar cube is? It's probably about this big. Generally, they feed it to horses. Ladies, we're not horses. We do not need the equivalent of sugar cubes in our body. One of the things that I definitely want to point out is a liter of soda, cola, Coke, however we want to refer to it from whatever region of the country we're in, soda pop, 31 cubes of sugar. So your standard, not a 2-liter bottle, a liter of Coke or Pepsi is the equivalent to 31 cubes of sugar. That's crazy. Let's take a look at this in advertising standards. This is my background. This is what I love. A few years ago, they had this commercial of Cindy Crawford. She had these short shorts on and a little white tank top, and she was drinking a Pepsi, and she was walking across the screen, and it made you think, if you drink that Pepsi too, you were gonna look exactly like her, you were gonna feel like her, your life was gonna be glamorous, you were all of a sudden gonna grow a really glamorous mole just like she has. Did that really happen? No, it didn't happen. Well, the advertising industry spends so much money making us think that that's going to happen for us. So we want to re-engineer that and put healthy foods in our body. So let's think about till last summer. Coke tried this again. Coke came out with these cans that had your name on it. Everybody wants to see their name in lights. It's instant gratification for you. Well, they had this whole pack of cans that said friend on it. Friends don't let friends drink Coke. So I was born and raised in the South. I can't say anything against Coke. I truly love it. I don't drink it. We don't have it in our household. But I think it's kind of a sin to not like Coke if you're raised in the South. So, but I thought this was pretty funny that friends don't let friends drink Coke. So if we want to just take a look at how dangerous sugar really is for our body and for our brain, here are some images of brain scans, and I think you may have seen this from Dr. Kyle before. And I think that's one of those things that we just really need to push on our head, that if we see it over and over, it'll sink in and we'll get it. So this is a brain scan of what our brain looks like and how the neurons look like when they're fired up with sugar and how they're fired up with cocaine. This is how dangerous sugar is for our body and how addictive it really is. But they put sugar on the shelf. They sell it everywhere. They're not going to sell cocaine. You'll get thrown into jail for selling cocaine, taking cocaine, having it on your body. So why is it even possible to have this on the shelf? So what we want to do is we want to become sugar seekers. Does anybody know who this guy is? Magnum PI. Tom Selleck is on my top 5. I cannot lie. My husband knows this. So we want to become sugar seekers. We want to make sure that we are reading the labels of everything that we are eating. And I know Dr. Kyle has preached this before also. Read the labels. You don't have to worry about how many calories does this have, how many carbs does this have. Read the label. See actually what is in your food. The sneaky terms that we are looking in are those words that end in OSE. The words that end in OSE are sugar. Sucrose, fructose, glucose, lactose, maltose, dextrose. Here's another little trick from the advertising industry. They can label the front of a package and it says sugar-free. If you turn it around and you read the ingredients and it has these terms on it, it's not sugar-free. It's not. So we want to make sure that we are really aware of that. The second point that we want to talk about is dairy. The dairy products. We want to just point out, why do we think we need to eliminate dairy? Do we think we need to eliminate dairy? Or don't I need calcium? That's a big one for women. Years ago, they would say, you have to have calcium for your bones. You really don't. 75% of the world's population is lactose intolerant. I'm going to say that again. 75% of the world's population is lactose intolerant. That is a huge percentage. So when we talk about being lactose intolerant, let's take a look at the cows. And I'm just going to specifically talk about milk for right now. These cows are factory farmed. They're not the cows that you think of that are out on the free range, they're eating grass all day. We're blessed to live in this area where we actually do get to see that. And some of the milk that comes from this area may be produced that way. But these cows have mass-produced milk in them. They're pumped full of hormones so they stay in that lactating state. Women, could you imagine being pumped full of those hormones and stay in that lactating state all year round? What would happen? You would start to get sick after a while. Well, these cows get sick. That's what happens. So then they're pumped full of antibiotics. Well, those antibiotics have to go somewhere, right? They go into your milk. That's what happens. And you end up drinking them. When the cows get sick, they end up forming this mucus glue. That sounds really attractive, doesn't it? Mucus glue. So then what happens with the mucus glue? Bacteria and viruses grow in the milk. And then what happens with that? You end up ingesting it. You end up with allergies, ear infections, potential sinus infections. It's this really vicious cycle. So let's just think about it that way. Whatever goes into the cow is also going into you. So we need to think about that. We need to really think what's going into our body. The final point that we have on here is that milk is actually, it creates an acidic environment in your body. We want to create an alkaline environment in our body, just to be really balanced out. So here again, the big white lie of advertising. I love this one. This one's my favorite. I mean, advertising is so great. They made you think that cigarettes and nicotine were okay for you years ago. And I can say this, my dad actually works for a big cigarette company, and he has for years. I was raised on cigarette and tobacco money, and we're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. That's not what I'm saying. But it's hard for me to speak ill against this. But also, this is how it flows into milk. They use celebrities. Who wouldn't want to drink milk? I mean, if it's good enough for David Beckham, sure, it's good enough for me. Of course, I'm going to be able to go out and play soccer. So they make you think that David Beckham drinks milk. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, right? Well, you don't really know everything that goes into it. So we need to be that investigator. Put on your Tom Selleck hat, those little short shorts, Tom Selleck short shorts. Forget the Cindy Crawford short shorts. Put on the Tom Selleck short shorts and your Hawaiian shirt and go be an investigator. Learn about this. So if we're not getting calcium from our milk, where are we getting it from? We need calcium as women. It's a supplement that we need. Easy. Easy, easy. Here are my 4 top favorites. Green leafy vegetables. Guys, we are so blessed to be in this area where we have farmers that you can go to the farmer's market and get these fresh produce like kale and collard greens and just really green vegetables. My other favorite one is chickpeas. You can get chickpeas. Eat the chickpeas as they are. Make hummus out of them. Almonds. Raw almonds. Super simple. Keep some raw almonds in your purse. I keep raw almonds with me just about every day. Now I am on this detox program, so the phase of the detox program that I am on, I can't have almonds right now, but we're going to talk about that. Another really good one is chia seeds. These are all healthy options for getting your calcium. The last one we want to talk about is gluten. And I thought this was pretty funny. The mom is sitting there, she's reading her book, and she has the spoon out, and she looks like she's probably baking something. She's like, go ahead, honey, it's gluten-free. You can have that. Well, because we all want to lick the spoon when we're baking something, right? So what is gluten? Let's talk about this buzz term, gluten. It's everywhere now. You see gluten-free this and gluten-free that, but do we really know what it is? Gluten is actually a protein that is found in wheat, barley, rye, and some oats. So basically, there are hundreds of proteins out there, but science has recently discovered that this one protein has been causing detrimental effects to people's lives. So what are some of the effects of gluten in our body? Some people, like the most severe cases, people have celiac disease and they need to avoid gluten at all costs. Other forms is fibromyalgia. My mom actually has fibromyalgia, and she probably has a gluten sensitivity, if not celiac disease, but she won't stop eating bread for long enough for us to find out. So you either deal with the consequences or you make a change, right? It's that simple. Chronic fatigue, itchy skin, ooh, itchy skin. Without having mosquito bites, itchy skin is not very attractive. Irritable bowel syndrome, that's not good either. But you know what, one of the biggest things that we've learned from, we know gluten is in wheat. Wheat is actually an appetite stimulant. So when we eat these products that potentially have gluten in them, it's making us hungrier. Why do we want to do that to ourselves? We want to eat food that's going to fuel us so we don't stay hungry. We don't get that sugar crash. We want to have those foods that really energize us and keep us going throughout the day. So that's what this detox program is going to help us with. How do we avoid those toxic foods. Here are 3 simple steps. There's more in the detox program, but there's 3 simple steps. Eat healthy, high-protein meals. Have some chicken. Have some chicken. Make sure that it's free-range, antibiotic-free chicken. That, of course, is my recommendation. Another one is eat foods that are rich in B vitamins. The simplest form of B vitamins are those green leafy vegetables, and here's the plus, you also get your calcium with those. Remember, we just talked about that. Drink coconut water. For those of you who like to work out, instead of grabbing that Gatorade, grab a coconut water. Coconut water is full of electrolytes that are really good for your body. But here's the thing, read the label. You want to make sure that it's just coconut water that you're ingesting. So what actually can you eat on this program? You know, and I call this program your Reboot Your Body. I wanted to call it Reboot Your Booty, but some people might not like that one. So we want to reboot our body. Here's just a sample menu of what you can have. We want to start our day with hot lemon water. And why do I say that? Hot lemon water, it starts the detoxification process in your body first thing in the morning. It starts to clean out your liver. Your liver is where the toxins go in your body. So if we start cleaning out your liver first thing in the morning, you are literally going to start moving everything out of your body, which is a good thing. When we get things out of our body, we're in better moods. So then breakfast, a berry bliss smoothie. It's really simple. I give you all the recipes for this stuff. Snacks, vegetables and fruit or a super protein bar. Lunch, sweet potato and onion soup. You can have these great things. Snack, pumpkin seed pesto and veggie dips. Dinner, stuffed acorn squash. This stuff is super simple to make. If I can make it, I know you guys can make it. I don't like being in the kitchen. If it doesn't have few ingredients and it takes hours to make, I'm not gonna make it. I don't have time either. I just don't have time. I wanna get in there. I want to cook once, eat twice. Remember that, I wanna cook once and eat twice. Yes, we wanna have enough food that we can feed ourselves for a couple of meals. That's the trick here. We're all very busy. Let's make the best of our time and do that. But I know, like I said, we're also very, very busy. I would love for everybody to sit down and have a meal together as a family, or just sit down and digest your food for 2 seconds without being in the car and eating and driving and talking on the phone and taking notes and planning your next meeting and when's your next schedule. You know, we're all very busy. You know, I'm very realistic to that. So we have options for things that you can grab and go and still be very nutritious. Remember, we talked about those raw almonds. Keep some raw almonds in your bag. Those are super nutritious for you. Ezekiel bread with almond butter and a sliced banana. How simple is that? And it's very nutritious for you. And then we talk about other versions of smoothies. So in your packet, I've given you a couple of recipes that I'd love for you to try. One of them is a protein bar, and the other one is a smoothie. And you can see how simple these are. So aside from the food, we talked about the other areas of balancing our life. The other area is we want to make sure, aside from food, that we're making sure that we're getting enough activity in our life every day. We want to be moving 20 to 30 minutes a day. Do this for yourself, ladies. We need to do this. Whether you're just doing meditation or yoga or exercising. You know, I get up, I like doing HIIT exercises, high intensity interval training. That's what I love to do. Hugs. Hugs is a really good endorphin booster. Now I have to know you. I'd probably give all of you a hug, but if you don't know me, this is my space. Living in New York was very hard for me because it was too many strangers. This is my space. So when I think about endorphin boosters, I think about this clip from Legally Blonde. How many of you have seen Legally Blonde? So this is Elle Woods. She's presenting a case where she's trying to defend her client who they're saying killed her husband. And she's saying, exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands. So we want to think about that. Do this good stuff for yourself. Nourish your body properly. We also want to make sure that we're sleeping enough. We don't get enough sleep. We just don't get enough sleep, and we start phasing out, and that's part of that 3 and 4 o'clock slumber where we have that brain fog because we're exhausted. We walk around like zombies all the time. We want to make sure that we're getting 8 hours of sleep. Does that sound ridiculous? That sounds ridiculous. But when you sleep, the body heals and repairs itself. So you're putting in this very quality nutrition into your body, but you also want to make sure that you're giving it what it needs to heal and repair itself. My great example of this is Sleeping Beauty. I actually looked this up because I didn't know how long Sleeping Beauty was asleep. Does anybody know? 100 years. No wonder the woman looked glamorous when she woke up. Her body healed and repaired itself. She didn't age. So the amazing benefits of rebooting your body. I know we talked about this before, but let's recover this one more time. We want to kick those cravings to the curb. We want to release that stubborn weight. We have that extra weight from the winter. You know, we got really happy with our families and we just ate during the winter. So we want to get a little bit of that off. And let's feel light in our body. We want to make sure that the whites of our eyes are actually showing. Who likes bloodshot eyes? Other than vampires, it's not really sexy. We want to have clearer skin. We definitely want to have improved digestion. Detoxing is really the fountain of youth for us. It's not just for women, it's for the men in your life, it's for the children in your life. And the way that we're doing this through this program, your children and your family can do this. We're eating real whole food. Everybody can do this program. We're taking out the bad stuff that's wreaking havoc on our body, and we're bringing in these good foods, and we're gonna learn about our body and what that's doing to our body systems. So we talked about this detox. Why do you want to detox? What do you want to achieve? What are some reasons that we've sat here and just talked about? Make sure your intentions are really clear when you do this detox. And what would it take for you to do this detox? Would you need email support daily? Would you want a meal plan? Would you want a shopping list that tells you, I need to go to the grocery store and this is exactly what I need to get. I don't have time to think about this. I need these meals. I need a shopping list. I can go to the grocery store, have a pen, and just check, and I'm done and I'm out the door because I don't like the grocery store any more than you all do. It's not a sexy place to be. Let's be honest. What else would you need for this program? Would you want a group support? Everybody needs group support. You know, us as women, we want to be supported. We want to be encouraged. You're going to get all of that with this detox program. I want to make sure that I'm equipping you to be very successful, and you're going to get all of these tools in your inbox every day, and you can download these programs and you have it all here with you. I have examples of everything right here. So when we're finished, if you want to come up and take a look at it, you can see the entire program. It's that simple. Here's a list of everything that you're going to get. You're going to get everything that I just talked about. You're going to get the detox guide, the recipe guide. There's over 60 recipes in here, but I've actually come up with a guide for all 15 days that has recipes in it and the shopping list for 15 days. Now you can mix and match any of that you want because it's 60 recipes. I want to make sure that you have food that you want to eat. If you don't want to eat something or something doesn't look tasty to you, you're not going to eat it. So I wanted to equip you with foods that you're going to eat. And then I also just wanted to give you foods that your family might want to try, that you might want to try later. We're going to get that shopping list that I talked to you about. We're also going to give you a food diary. This is extremely important in this program. When you have this food diary, you're going to write down the foods that you're eating, of course. But I want you to also write down the foods, how the foods are making you feel. Do you have more energy? Do you not have that afternoon crash? You want to make sure you're writing that down through this program. It's 15 days. How many of you have 15 days that we can do this program? 15 days. So my husband and I are actually doing this program right now. We are working full-time jobs. We have sold our house. We are in the process of moving our house. Today, here's an example of my day. I went to work, I attended meetings this morning, came home, we moved our furniture this afternoon, we unpacked a few boxes, and then we had 2 seconds to grab some dinner before I came here, and I made it really simple. Dinner is so simple, and I don't have a kitchen. I haven't had a kitchen for the past 2 days. That's how simple this program is. So I hope that you've learned a lot from this program tonight. We talked about sugar. When we talked about the sugar, we talked about we want to look for those hidden terms that end in OSE, right? Be those sugar seekers. Make your own Tom Selleck. And then we also talked about dairy. 75% of the world's population is lactose intolerant. Are you part of that 75%, or are you part of that 25%? I'm actually part of that 75%. Yeah, most people are, and you just don't know it. I mean, it's 75% of the world's population. We talked about that buzz term, gluten, that crazy term gluten that seems to have popped up out of nowhere right now. That it's this protein that some people are allergic to. Are you allergic to it? I found out I'm allergic to it, but my husband's not. You know, I have a sensitivity to it. I'm not fully allergic to it. I have a sensitivity to it. So chances are other people in your family are also. Yeah. So thank you for coming out tonight. I really appreciate it.